the world's #1 online Christian radio station.
Hey everybody, this is Al. We are back with Coaching by Al. Thank you so much for tuning in today. I know some of you are still finding the station or looking for how to get on, but it's all right. You're here. We're in the house. We're in the right place. You're in the right place, so don't you go anywhere. You are watching Coaching by Al. I'm your host, Al Wilson Jr., and we're having a fun time today. The weather isn't absolutely exciting. I mean, there's not a whole lot of sun shining, but it's definitely shining anyway. One of the wonderful things that I used to love about traveling was when I would leave on the airplane, say for instance on like an early morning where it was raining and cloudy, and as soon as you get up above the clouds, you see all of that sunshine. So I'm just saying that to tell you that the sun is always shining, regardless of what it looks like underneath the clouds. The sun is still shining. Yes, it is. So we're going to have it good. We're going to have a good time. And you are watching on Worship Radio International. That's right. That's where you are right now. You're watching Worship Radio International. Now, you can also be sure to watch by worshipradio.faith. You can go to that. That's www.worshipradio.faith. Or you can listen by going to tune.in, that's tun.in. You can go there and you can look for Worship Radio International and you can listen to the radio show there. You can also check out the podcast on apple.com or Spotify. You go to open.spotify, spotify.com, and you can check us out there. Just look for Worship Radio International. It'll bring up all the list of all these wonderful people that have wonderful shows on Worship Radio International. We are doing big things, and it's only going to get bigger from here, I promise you. So you want to be a part of this. You really do want to be a part of this, whether you are watching or whether you would like to actually advertise within this program, Coaching by Al. If you see something that interests you and you have a product or a service and you'd like to advertise that inside of the show, talk to me, contact me. You can reach me either by sending a message on Facebook, or you can contact me at my telephone number, and I'll be sure to give that to you at the end of the show. And we can talk about it, and you can advertise your own product or service right here inside the program. And it would be a blessing to the radio show so that we can continue to do what we do for you. Then you can also listen on SoundCloud. And of course, YouTube. You can go to YouTube. Now, it's going to take a moment for this program to be uploaded to YouTube. So I would say give it maybe 12 hours to 24 hours. But once there, it's there and you can watch it. And I'm sure you would have a ball. So I want to say thank you again to everyone who is currently watching. We're going to get going in just a moment. You know, I always got to give out some shout outs and some love, especially to God's Holy Temple Church, my family, God's Holy Temple. I love you all so much. That's the congregation that I pastor, for those of you who don't know. And we are in Hazel Park, 777 East Woodward Heights, Hazel Park, Michigan. You can go there, and we'll be there tomorrow at 1:30, on Sundays at 1:30. And we have a wonderful time. We have an absolutely wonderful time. It's not anything for showboating. It's not anything for grandstanding. We simply love the Lord. We worship the Lord. We honor him, we magnify him, we glorify him, and we hear the word of the Lord. And you know what else? I'm going to say this, and I know it's going to sound weird. Many times, the joy, the peace, the love, the encouragement, the real word of the Lord sometimes comes through just a hug or a handshake or a smile. But it's genuine. That's the reason why it works. So I want to say again, thank you to all the God's Holy Temple Church family, of course, to my pastor, the founder of God's Holy Temple Church, Pastor Alfred C. Wilson Sr. I love you, Dad. To my wonderful wife, who's hanging out with my little lady, Nala. We call her the Bean because she's so tiny. Well, she's more like a bean sprout now, I guess. She's not just a bean anymore, but they're having some fun. And then also my sister, who's recovering, and my brother. I love you all so much. And everybody, I'm not going to start naming names. My assistant pastor, my brother, my best friend. I got plenty best friends. No, I don't have plenty best friends. You shouldn't have too many best friends, but he's definitely one of them. My brother, Grover Cross, the third, Pastor Grover Cross. Love you, man. Oh, man, if I start naming names, I'll be here all day. So let's get into some real fun talks today. I still am looking to see who is on with us. So if you are on, then I would love for you to just make sure it's known. Carlos Price, my brother in DC, Prophet Carlos Price. I love you, man. He's more than a prophet, really, but that's one of the wonderful gifts that the Lord just poured on him. And man, I'm sounding like I'm preaching today. I sound like a pastor. I'm supposed to be Coach Al today. And I see you on, brother, but I love you and thank you so much for watching. And then my sister Kim, you're on. And I know some more of you are coming on, so I'm just going to keep moving forward. Last week, we talked about peace and how peace was effective in our lives. And I think we got something out of it. But before I get into what I want to talk about today, I just want to remind you and tell you for sure so you can be sure you know exactly what this show is about, because it's called Coaching by Al. So what is a coach? What is a coach? What is that about? Why are you called Coaching by Al? Well, let me tell you a little bit of my background just in case you don't know. I'm a pastor, okay? I'm a pastor. That is what I do. That's what I love to do. That's what I believe I'm called to do. That's what I was raised to do. That's what the Lord shines through me in. I love it. I love giving people encouragement and hope. I love explaining the word of the Lord to people. I love being with them in their times, whether those are good times or bad times. And I know that may sound a little morbid, like why would you love being with people in their bad times? Because I'm drawn to people. I'm just drawn to making sure that people have comfort and people know comfort, that people understand the love of the Lord, and that it's not just God loving them, but God in us loving them, and that I love you. So I just love people. So if I can be there, if I can help someone, that's just who I am. That's what I do. I encourage people by talking with people, helping them sort through their issues, sort through their problems, helping them to understand the word of the Lord better, helping them to understand what God desires for them in their life. Many people are looking to find out what their purpose in life is. And I truly believe that sometimes we get that understood with needing to understand our assignment in life. So, what do you mean by that, Al? Just briefly, our purpose in life. Now, this is gospel according to Junebug, so I don't want you to go looking in the Bible and say you're wrong. Well, this is according to me. Our purpose in life, we'll understand that when we get there. When we see him face to face, everything will be revealed. But during this time when we're on earth, I think everything that we do encompasses our purpose. So I try to help people to understand what their assignment is. It's almost like if you've ever seen a mosaic. A mosaic, it's a picture made up of many, 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 many pictures. Have you ever seen that? It's tiny little pictures that are all put together to make one large picture. That's a mosaic. And that's what I believe assignments in life are like. The reason why you go over there and you hug that person, or you pat that person on the shoulder, or you give that person a smile, or you do something nice for this person over here, or you stay away from that person over there. Whatever it is, whatever your assignment is, all helps to come together to create, or to fulfill, I should say it that way, your purpose in life. So when we get there and when we look back on our life on that big jumbotron, if there is one, then we will see how everything God did through us, with us, and for us integrates into the ultimate purpose that he created us for. So that's what that's about. Joshua, I see you, brother. I love you, man. Keep doing what you're doing. Good man, good man, good man. Now, again, how does that tie into being a coach? What I figured was it may be a good idea for me to learn about being a life coach so that I could help those who are assigned to me in the congregation better, to help them understand how to move forward. You see, many people think life coaching has this part of psychiatry or something like that. It's not psychiatry. It's not psychiatry at all. I'm not a shrink. I'm not trying to look into your past and figure out what happened to you when you were 1 and 2 and 3 and all of that. I'm not trying to do that. My job as a coach is to get you from where you are right now to make a plan based on what you want for your life, and help you figure out ways to make it happen more efficiently and effectively. That's what I do. That's what I do as a coach. And I think it's necessary. You know, some of the greatest athletes in the world, and I've talked about this before, some of the greatest athletes in the world. Stephen, I see you, brother. I love you, man. The greatest athletes in the world have a coach. Let's talk about Usain Bolt. Can I do that legally? Is it okay? Usain Bolt, fastest man in the world, or at least he was. I don't know if he still is. I don't keep up with sports as well as I used to. But Usain Bolt, the fastest man in the world, has a personal coach. Why would a man that fast by nature need a coach? There's a quote that I love, absolutely love. It says, more men are nobled by study than by nature. What does that mean? It means even if you have a talent that you are born with, there are people who were not born with the same talent you have, but because of their diligence, their persistence, their dedication, their devotion, their commitment, they will get further in life than someone naturally talented will. Because the person who's naturally talented may not necessarily feel like they have to develop their gift. You need to be able to develop your gift. So what I'm saying by that is, with Usain Bolt being as fast as he was naturally, he still needed a coach. And this coach was actually able to make him faster. Can you believe that? How is that possible? I was watching a documentary on him. Interesting thing. I don't know if you can see it here. Brother DeAndre Ford, I love you, man. Dr. Stanley L. Scott, I love you, sir. Pastor of Salvation Temple Church. That's my grandpa-stir. That's my father's pastor, and so that's my grandpastor. I know that I tell that joke all the time. It's pretty lame, but it's funny to me. It's just funny to me. So anyway, he has this technique of looking at Usain Bolt, his coach. He looks at him and he watches his runs over and over and over. He watches everything that Usain Bolt does in his performance over and over and over and over and over. He watches it on tapes. He watches him in person. He's standing right next to him when he takes off from the line. He does all of this. And after watching and studying him, he becomes the best student of Usain Bolt. That's what the coach does. And then you know what he does? He makes a minor tweak. This you can go check it out for yourself in the documentary. He made a minor tweak. You know how racers start at the line? Have you ever seen that? And they say, get on your mark, and they put their fingers down on the line. Can you see my hands? He gets his fingers on the line, and he bows his head, and he's kneeling, and he's getting ready to take off. What his coach noticed. Check this out. This is hilarious. Hey, Mary, I love you. I see you, sister. I love you. What he notices is that the distance Usain Bolt's hands are from each other is too wide. Doesn't seem like that would make much of a difference. So this is what he tells Usain to do. He says, pull your fingers in, or your hands closer to each other just by an inch or two. And so instead of being here, he brings them in to here. And then when he starts out from the line now, he's got a faster start time, which results in a faster finish. Can you believe that? A small little tweak. A small little tweak. That's all it was. He saw something that Usain could not see. That's what a coach does for you. If you've ever woke up in the morning, I guess you've woken up several times. I hope you are awake now. If you're watching me and you're not awake, then we really need to talk. But when you wake up in the morning, you get dressed, you get ready. Most likely you are in front of a mirror. Most people are in front of a mirror for the purpose of being able to see themselves and to make sure that everything is together. And you could stare at yourself and look yourself over for 5 minutes, which is a long time to just kind of really stare at yourself. That's another issue we can talk about later. But if you do that and you walk outside the house, and as you get out of the house, the sunlight hits you. Now you start noticing lint on your clothes that you didn't see when you were in the house. Now you're starting to notice that your hands and arms are ashy, if you know ashiness actually shows up on you. You start to see things, and other people start to see things. You thought you had it all together, and now somebody walks up to you and says, hey, your collar is up in the back. I had a man to give me a tip for just telling him, I drive, by the way. I in between all that I do, I drive for Lyft part-time. And so I dropped this guy off the other day, and he was very well dressed, had everything together, had an incredibly wonderful bag. I don't know if I can call it a man purse, but it's what it looked like to me. And so he he's walking away from the van, and he's getting ready to go in the door. I said, "Hey, hold on, sir." I said, "Your collar is up in the back." Now I don't know what he was going into as far as if it was a business meeting or if it was an interview, whatever it was. I just wanted to make sure he was looking his best, and he was so thankful. He was so thankful. I don't know what the issue was that he was about to step into, but he was so thankful that he sent me a huge tip. And he even left a comment and said, "Thank you for telling me to pop my collar," because I saw something that he didn't see, and I was willing to actually say something. So that's the power of having somebody in your life to see things that you can't see. You had it all together, and somebody says, "Hey, bro, you might want to zip that up." I thought I had it all together, and you telling me that there's something that I missed? Yeah, there's something that you missed. It's just like an author of a book. If you are trying to edit your own book or your own writings, you might want to reconsider that. Why? What are you talking about, Al? If I'm trying to edit my own book, and I'll use me as an example because I don't want you to think I'm pointing at you, but if I'm trying to edit my own book, because I know what I should be seeing on paper, my brain, because it's trying to help me, is going to make me see what should be on the paper, regardless of whether or not it's there. Oh, now that could go so many different ways. Yeah, because my brain wants to help me. It'll show me something that's literally not there, because it's trying to show me the best possible idea or the best potential or the best outlook on what can be. That's a gift. That's a gift that we all were given. Everybody, you, me, everyone included, has the gift of seeing potential. Now, sometimes that can be an issue. For example, how many times have you or someone you know, we're not going to say it was you. It was the person sitting next to you. That's what it was. Yeah, it's the person sitting next to you. How many times have you tried to look at somebody and see something in them that just literally was not there? You know what I'm talking about. You know how many times we try to get involved in a relationship with potential? Mm-hmm. Yeah, we do that, and it's a tough line to kind of decipher at times, because in one part of you want to see the best qualities of a person. You don't want to see the worst qualities of a person. All of us are given that gift of being able to see something good in someone, but sometimes you are looking and you are seeing what you want to see. Come on, Al. I'm going to clap for myself. If you hear me, I hope somebody will say something. Come on now. Sometimes you're just seeing what you want to see. How do you know the difference between, Al? How do you know the difference between whether I'm seeing potential or if I'm just seeing what I want to see? Well, it goes to your motives. You need to check out your motives. You need to check out, are you looking upon this person and are you examining them so that you can be of help to them because you have their best interest at heart? Or is it possible that you have your best interest at heart? Now we're getting somewhere. Oh, yes, now we are getting somewhere. So if you are looking to see what your best interest is in a person, then what happens is you see something that is absolutely not there. Well, I believe that, he could be the kind of man I want him to be. He may not be saved right now, but, I believe the Lord is working on him. He said he loved the Lord. He said he go to church. Are you seeing what you want to see? I don't even know what I'm talking about. I wasn't trying to go into a relationship, but it seemed like it's going that way. Somebody out there is going through something and you're pulling, and I think that's what you're pulling out of me. Are you seeing what you want to see? Or Are you looking for the best interest of that person? Because if you are looking for the best interest of that person, when you look and examine them and you see potential, which is good to see, then it has no ties to you. It has no benefit for you. You simply want that person to be their best. Many times we are in a relationship, and I'm talking about whatever kind of relationship you're in. Many times we're in a relationship for selfish reasons. Selfish reasons. And the only thing that's going to happen as a result of examining someone and hopefully possibly seeing potential in them for selfish reasons, the only thing it's going to do is backfire and cause misery. First of all, because you lied to the person as to the reason why you were interested in them. You were interested in what you thought could happen as opposed to what really was. That's one. Two, you're going to be horribly defeated and disappointed because you saw an opportunity to be selfish, and you lied to yourself. You lied to yourself. Okay, I know y'all don't want to say nothing to me. You mad at me already? Do I need to go into a different topic? Do I need to go into it? I'm telling you what a life coach does, okay? A life coach helps you to see some things that you are not looking for. That sounds weird. If I'm looking for a problem, why won't I see a problem, Al? Let me go back to the issue with the person who is a editor for a book. If you're trying to edit your own book, you're not really trying to see what's wrong. You're looking at the paper to make sure there's nothing wrong. Does that make sense to you? Do you hear what I'm saying? You're not looking for the problem. You're looking to make sure there isn't one. So you're filling in the blanks. You're filling in the blanks. What somebody outside of you can do is see what you're not seeing. And because they have your best interests at heart, then they're able to give you advice and sound counsel, sound understanding, a good idea from this spectrum to this spectrum and everything in between of what you could potentially do to improve your performance or become more efficient and effective at it, or they'll see something that you may want to steer clear of. They can see spots on you. They can see ashiness on you, for example. I know that's a weird way of saying it, but that's what a life coach can do. Okay, if the best athletes in the world have a life coach or a performance coach, don't you think it would be smart to maybe consider having a life coach? Because this ain't a game, family. Life is happening. Life is real. It's happening right now. Is that Scott I see? And I see Lede, and I see so many others on here. Brother Darnell and Brother Darrell too. I'm seeing so many people. I love y'all. Scott, man, it's good to see you on here. Skierzuski. So that's basically what I want to tell you about being a life coach. How did that come about? As I said, because of my heart and my desire for people, my love for people, to see them at their best. As a pastor, I want to make sure that I had whatever I needed at my disposal to be able to do that better. Okay, so if that means that I can look at you or look at your life and peer into it, not to be nosy, but just to have an opportunity to look and say, you know, here's some things that I think you may want to consider. Here's some things that I think you may want to tweak. Small changes, small changes, small changes. That's all it takes. A small hinge on a door can open a huge door. Small changes, small little things, tiny little things, some things that you may not even think matter could make all the difference. By the way, if you're just joining us, I love you. Thank you so much for watching. You are listening and watching potentially on Worship Radio International's page, worshipradio.faith, or you're watching on Facebook, either way, or you might be listening on TuneIn or some of the other mediums that we have in order to be able to watch this program. Thank you so much for watching. Send a like to the page, send some love to the page, share it with somebody, leave a comment. Comments are great. Comments give me some feedback to let me know that you're listening and that you're hearing what I'm saying. Now, if you have a question, you can throw that in there too. Hopefully we'll get a point where we can answer some questions. But I've talked about being a life coach and how I do that and how that helps the individual. So now what I want to do is get back into a little bit of the subject that I was talking about last week. We were talking about peace. We were talking about how to develop peace in your life and how to maintain peace. And whereas I did want to go on to a second subject today, I had so many notes on peace that I really wanted to make sure that I covered all of that for you. So if you don't mind, I'm just going to do that. There was a few things that I did want to mention. Specifically, one, how to develop peace. Here's another markdown, if you will, something to take notes on how to develop peace. Have you ever heard of the Serenity Prayer? I know many people hear that, and the first thing you think to yourself is, okay, isn't that for like a program where people have an addiction and, you know, they meet together in a group and that's something that they pray or say? Yes, it is. It absolutely is. But I found that in my life, the Serenity Prayer is one of the most powerful prayers. It's one of the most beautiful prayers. And it's something that you can literally apply to your life starting today. You can start right now. How does the Serenity Prayer go? It says like this: God, grant me the serenity to accept the things that I cannot change, the courage to change the things that I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. That is powerful. You want to hear me say that again? Because maybe you need to write it down, or maybe you need to Google it, look it up, find out what it says, copy it, put it on a piece of paper and hang it on a wall. Put it in a frame. It doesn't have to be expensive. Print it out on a piece of paper and put it in a frame and put it somewhere where you can see it all the time. Maybe in your room, maybe in your restroom, maybe somewhere. My brother Ira, I see you. Put it somewhere where you can see it all the time. See it all the time. God, grant me the serenity, the peace to accept the things that I cannot change, the courage to change the things that I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Oh, family, you want to talk about having some peace in your life? You've got to understand the difference. There are some things in your life, going from part one of that prayer, there are some things in your life that you just cannot change. You can't do it. I'm sorry. You can't change the past. You can't change another person. Sometimes we are unable at the moment to change the circumstance that we're in. Sometimes you need to have some peace about that. Sometimes you need to have some peace about that. Okay, explain a little bit more. I can't change other people. I can only change myself. You've heard that said so many times throughout your life. You need to take it to heart. I can't change others. I can only change me. If you get the understanding of that, you will start to have some peace. Why? Because we find ourselves trying to change things that we have no business trying to change. Sometimes that's why we get in a relationship again with people, because we think in some way, shape, or form that they are going to change suddenly because now they're married. Or sometimes we think they're going to change suddenly now because we have a child together. All of those types of things that people get connected into as a result. Why do I keep going to relationship? Somebody is pulling on me about relationship. All these things that we do thinking that people are going to change. People don't change. People grow up, but they don't grow out. You heard me say it last week. Tweet that. Post that. People grow up, but they don't grow out. You can't change someone. That's not your job to do. The best you can do is give that person an example, an idea, something to grow on. And then perhaps if they really want to, they'll change. But you can't make them change. So you can't get upset with someone about being the way they are. Here we go again. Marriage. You thought such and such, this person or that person was going to change because y'all were married. Regardless of the background, regardless of how they were brought up, regardless of what you knew about them, now you think all of a sudden they're going to change just because they're with you. Not going to happen. Not going to happen. Not in that way. Not in that way. See, if you were doing that, then it was really more so manipulation. Can I just be honest? I know y'all hate me. I feel the tomatoes. I rebuke the tomato spirit. You thought that person was going to change because you love them and because we're married now and I got a ring. I was married now. I say I was married. That's not going to change anybody. That's not going to change anybody. You married potential. You married a project. Well, now you got to deal with that. I hate to say it that way because I don't want it to sound like I'm just trying to be mean. But what I am saying is that you went in eyes wide shut, as they say. You weren't looking. You didn't see what you thought you saw. That causes, is unpeace a word? Disturbance. Okay. That's what it causes. If you want peace, you have to make sure you understand that you cannot change anyone. Don't focus on changing anyone. Focus on working on yourself. Okay, now that I'm in this situation, now what can I do to be the best person I can be as a result of it? Without mistreating this person or being angry with this person for being simply who they are. The same way you want to be simply who you are. The only way it's going to work is that you have two people who are interested in bettering themselves daily. You see what I'm saying? If you are working on bettering yourself and your spouse is working on bettering themselves, you're going to kind of be innocent bystanders of what is happening vertically in their life. Okay. I am not supposed to be talking about relationships right now. Yes, I am supposed to be talking about relationships, obviously. I remember a coworker of mine asked me a question. For those of you who don't know, I was once married years ago. That ended in a divorce, and I'm remarried again, happily, to my wife now for going on 11 years. Hey, girl. Yeah. But I couldn't understand why things happened the way they did. And all I wanted was somebody who understood the golden rule: do unto others as you would have them do unto you. This is me talking. And my coworker said, "Is that what you really were looking for?" I said, "Yeah." She said, "That's the dumbest thing you could ever." I was offended. I was upset. What do you mean that's dumb? Wouldn't that make sense to want somebody who understands the golden rule: do unto others as you would have them do unto you? She said, "Listen, somebody could love you and still mistreat you. Because if their understanding of love is wrong or off," and it doesn't necessarily mean that theirs is wrong, it just means that it was different. That's what I came to understanding of. It was just a different understanding. So there's no hate, there's no anger, there's no animosity anymore. We actually cool now. I mean, we ain't hanging out every day or nothing like that. I don't want anybody to get the wrong impression, but we cool now. My wife is cool with her, she cool with us. We family. We that's what it should have been from the start. But because we had misunderstandings on trying to change this person or that person to something else other than what they were supposed to be, we weren't honest with ourselves, we weren't honest with each other, and it ended. It couldn't last. Okay? So, why am I telling you that? Because if you, and this is the advice she gave me, and I hope this is going to help somebody who's dealing with some relationship issues right now. What you really want to have is somebody who fears God. I'm going to say that again. What you really want to look for in a spouse is somebody who fears God. Explain that a little bit more, Al. If they love God, there's certain things that they will never do to you. I can get up and walk away right now. Matter of fact, okay. If they love God, there's certain things that they will always do for you. Do you understand what I'm saying? So you don't have to try to push somebody or make somebody do something for you, or you won't have to worry about that. Their relationship with God will be such that you will get all of the benefit of the person they are becoming on their journey with the Lord. Now, maybe they got their journey started after you got together or after you got married. Well, now then it's just a waiting process. You're going to have to wait that thing out. You're going to have to hold out on it. Okay? Get back to peace, Al. That's what people want to hear about. Peace. Peace is a matter of communication. Explain that. Faith cometh by hearing. I heard Dr. Mike Murdock say this once. Faith cometh by hearing. Faith can also leave by hearing. It means you have to be careful what you're listening to, who you're listening to. There are some people that are just hurt. There are some people that are heartbroken, and that's usually what the issue is heartbreak. People say things out of heartbreak, hopefully intentionally trying to help you, and don't realize that if you take that in, it's really harming you. They're just giving what they have inside. If I squeeze an orange, hopefully orange juice is going to come out. If I squeeze an apple, hopefully if orange juice comes out of an apple, then I quit whatever I'm doing and I am going directly to Tropicana, and we about to come out with something good. But if I squeeze an apple, apple juice should come out. So the question is, if you get a squeeze put on you, what comes out? If a hurt person gets a squeeze put on them, what comes out? Hurt juice. Is hurt juice a thing? It is now. You see? So when people are giving you advice, or people are talking to you, or you are listening to all the wrong people, too many people, then that's going to infect your heart. And you know what's going to happen? It's going to start causing the opposite of peace in your life. It's going to give you more and more things to worry about, more and more things to be concerned about. So you got to be careful who you're listening to. Okay? We're getting close to time. By the way, if you're just watching and joining us, you are looking at Worship Radio International. This is Coaching by Al. And again, I'm your host, Al Wilson Jr. Thank you so much for being a part of our viewing or listening audience, whichever one you have. I'm so thankful. And remember, if you want to support this program, you can do so. And you can find out how just by going to my Facebook page, or you can just give a gift to Coaching by Al by going to, if you have Cash App, for example, you can put in the $ and put in Coaching by Al, LLC, and you can leave a gift. A gift of any size, a donation of any size would be absolutely a wonderful blessing, and we thank you for it. If I can get 1,000 people, 100,000 people, 10,000 people, more importantly, if I could just ask you if you'd like to sow a gift of any size, feel free to do so. It'd be greatly appreciated. All right. Now, let me get back to this thing on peace. As we get closer to the hurt juice, I loved it. I loved it. But here's the thing that I want to try to wrap up with, because I'm trying to get away from this relationship thing, but y'all keep pulling me back to this relationship issue. Y'all got some issues with some relationships out there, family? Go ahead. You can tell me. Be honest. Some issues with some relationships. It feels like that's just the thread of the day, you know. But I can say this. I can say this about a relationship. Many people say opposites attract. Let me tell you the truth about that. The saying comes from, and what people are envisioning when they talk about opposites attract, are magnets, right? You have a North Pole, you have a South Pole, you get them close to each other, they come together. They're a magnet. They are drawn to each other. So people say opposites attract because the North Pole and South Pole are opposites. That's incorrect. Let me explain the reason why they come together. Because they're made from the same substance. I'm going to give that a second to marinate. Let that soak in for a moment. They're made from the same substance. And because they are made from the same substance, they come back together again. It's the same substance that attracts them back. One is positively charged, one is negatively charged. I don't know all about the chemistry of it, but that's basically, and they come together. That's why. The reason why we oftentimes find people in our lives that we think are so different from us and so opposite of us, and we find ourselves attracted to them, really is for selfish reasons. But it usually ends up causing friction, something terrible. And the friction that I'm talking about is not a friction to sharpen, like iron sharpens iron and, you know, we make each other better. No, sometimes friction can end up just grinding or causing a fire. And that's oftentimes what happens. So you have to think about it. What kind of background did you come from? What kind of background did the person who you're in a relationship or want to be in a relationship with, what kind of background did they come from? Are you the same? Were you raised the same? Did you have the same understandings on love and on what family is and what marriage is, or what that looks like? Sometimes people have to put it together and try to work it out. I get it. But you're always going to have an easier time if you can find somebody who was raised the same way you were raised, who has the same morals, the same understandings, the same viewpoints as you. The more alike you are in those things, the foundational things, the things that matter, not the ornaments, not the pretty decoration on the windows. No. I'm talking about the foundational things. If you are alike in that manner, you can make it. You can make it. You got something to stand on. You got a solid, firm foundation. So that will bring more peace. Okay, I'm so close to getting to the end of this. I got to stop. Maurice, my brother, man, I love you so much. You and Cherie. I haven't talked to y'all in so long, but I know you're doing well. You always look great. I love y'all so much. I miss y'all. So let me tell you this. We talk about often in church, and you know, church folks, we have our church-ese, or in other words, the terminology we use more so in church than anywhere else. And so one of the things we talk about is being led by peace. And oftentimes we don't find out what that really means to be led by peace. We hear that we have to be led by peace, but we don't really talk about how to be led by peace. Let me see if I can break this down for you. And this will give you hopefully a better understanding on what the role of peace is supposed to be in your life as you are on this journey. It should not be a destination. It should be how you get to where you go. It should be something you develop along the way. Okay? If you're trying to get to a point where you can have peace in your life, you are definitely going to miss your exit. Because you're never going to find one spot where there's going to be peace. You have to learn how to develop it and produce it from your own insides, from your own spirit, from your own soul. So let me explain this thing. Peace is not something that you reach. Peace does not mean the absence of problems. Remember the first definition that I gave you last week when we started out, we were talking about how people were talking about peace was the absence of problem. It was the absence of war. There's no war. Everything is calm. That's not how peace always works. Peace, listen to this, and I hope this will be a working definition for you. Peace is the understanding or the belief, the knowing, the trust, the faith that no matter what's going on, everything is going to be all right. That's what peace is. Peace is when everything is going crazy around you. Something still on the inside of you says, it's going to be all right, though. Everything is going to be fine. That's how you have to start practicing living. You have to start practicing your life with that in mind. Why? Going back to the serenity prayer, there are some things that I cannot change. Lord, let me have the courage to change the things that I can. There are some things you absolutely can change. And sometimes we just don't do what's necessary to change it. We look at it as a hopeless situation, or we don't really fully give ourselves 100% to it, and we don't try to change it. It being what? It being ourselves. That's the only thing you can change. You start working on you, and you can do that. Everything will start to look different around you. When I start working on me, when I start working on my attitude, when I start working on my character, when I start working on understanding who I am, guess what will happen automatically? Things around me will cause less distraction in my life. I hope you're getting this. I hope this is helping somebody. Delisa, I love you. My sister Delisa. Delisa Williams, it's been so long. When you start thinking about you, when you start understanding who you are, when you start taking time to become your best student, become a student of you. That's right. Focus on what you have to do. Everything else around you will become less distracting to you. When you start getting an idea of who you are and you start focusing on that, the things this person says over here and the things that person does over there and the thing that people are doing behind you, it won't matter so much. It won't matter so much. Why? Because you're working on what you can change. Last part, the wisdom to know the difference. Wisdom is the principal thing. You got to get wisdom. In all you're getting, get understanding. There are some things you should be working on trying to change, and there are some things you should not be worried about. There's nothing you can do about it. Let it go. The wisdom, once you get to the point of wisdom to understand which is which, you'll have a whole lot more peace. You'll have a whole lot more peace. You did the best you could to raise that child, and now they're out doing whatever, and you're concerned, rightfully so. You're a parent. You love them. That's your responsibility to cover them and love them. But hopefully at some point you get to the point where when you go to sleep at night, it's because you did the best you could. You did the best you could, and so now you've got to trust that what you put into them is still there. If you put it in right, the ball don't lie, they say. You throw it at the net right, it's going in. If you put it in right, it's going to show up. That's a principle. That's the word. Now, the same can be said in a sense for living with someone, living with a spouse. Let's say, for instance, that you're in a relationship with a spouse, husband and wife, and I'm only talking about husband and wife. I don't talk about folks living together. Somebody gonna turn me off. That's all right. I don't talk about folks living together. If you're married, then we can talk. Okay? If you're not married and you're living together, we should still talk, because now I can share with you some ideas on how you can fix that. Okay? But if you're living with somebody who's just coming to the point of changing, or changing themselves, if I can say it that way, they're starting to see things better now. They're starting to see things clearer. Now it's your job to take on part 2 of that, the courage to change the things I can, and now the peace to change the things I can't. You've got to now develop some peace and some patience to wait. You can't get impatient with that person. You married them in a state where they were not ready yet. You just got to hold out. You got to wait. You got to wait. You got to wait. But there's always a joy for those who do. Because at the same time God is working on that person, God is also developing something in you inside your character. Okay? So the more you become at peace, again, with you, the more you will understand, the more you will be calmer, the more things will not bother you so much, because you have developed you and you're continually working on developing you. Is that making sense to anybody? Is that making sense to anybody? I hope it is. Listen, we are almost getting ready to wrap up this hour that I've been with you. I hope that what I'm sharing with you is helping in some way, shape, or form. Hopefully it's giving you something to think about and say, you know what? I used to believe that. I used to know that, but some kind of way I forgot it. But thanks for regenerating that in me. Thanks for stirring that up. You know how all the flavor, when you first put it in the glass from Kool-Aid, goes to the bottom of the glass. You got to stir it up. You got to stir it up. Stir up the gift and bring it back up to the surface, okay? Stir it up. That's what this program hopefully will do for you, is to stir up the gift. I look forward to bringing on some people who can talk to you more about aspects of increasing your efficiency in life. I want to get to the point where we can talk about how to better handle your time management. That'll bring a lot of peace in your life. I want to get a chance to talk to you about perspective, attitudes, understanding how to deal with everyday life, you being you. Again, with Usain Bolt, maybe just a tweak from going from here when you start racing to here. In life, maybe we can talk about how to go from maybe waking up in the morning with the wrong attitude because you have to go to work. Maybe I can talk with you about getting a better perspective on what the job is supposed to be, what the job is supposed to do. You can get a new perspective on it, and maybe you won't hate your job so much. That'll give you a lot of peace. I want to talk about that. I really want to talk about that. We may even talk about that next time. There are many opportunities for you to develop and maintain peace in your life, but it's not something you can do for 2 weeks. It's going to take some consistency. It's going to take some diligence. It's going to take some perseverance. It's going to take you wanting to know where you want to be and defining that and describing that. Definitely. You have to know where you want to go. Okay. As you do that, you're going to find yourself in a whole lot more peace. I love you so much. I'm enjoying this. I really am. I'm so enjoying being able to just get and kind of talk to you one on one. It's a whole different aspect from preaching behind a pulpit, so to speak. Even though I don't actually use a podium, but I love being able to just kind of be open with you and share with you. Okay. Now, if you want to talk more, Pastor Harris, I love you. God bless you. It's good to see you on here. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful man of God. I love him so much. And to the whole family over there, love you, love you, love you. God bless you. Thank you for watching. If you are interested in having a radio show program on Worship Radio International, please leave a comment on Worship Radio International. Go to worshipradio.faith. Get with Prophet Blaine Irving and his lovely wife. I'm going to say it right. I promise I'm going to say it right. She in the next room. I hope she's not going to kick me. Apostle Ade Irving. Did I say it? Hey, I said it right. So get with them and find out about being on this program. If you want to sponsor your product or your service, you can do it right here in a show like Coaching by Al. We can talk about the pricing for that. We have prices already laid out, and we are willing to work with you because we want to sponsor you and support you just like you're sponsoring and supporting us. You can do that again. $ Coaching by Al LLC. If you have Cash App, if you'd like to leave a gift of any size for the continuation of this program, it's going to go on, but you could also be blessed by just being a giver. We're going to talk about that one day too, how peace can come through giving, how you can improve your life and your efficiency through giving. Giving is beautiful, but I'm not going to take a whole lot of time on that. We only got a few minutes left. Next time we come together, we're going to talk about some topics that are really, I believe, going to help you to kind of take the mask off of some things, get behind it, see what's really going on, and then figure out what you can do to improve it. Efficiency. I'm not interested in just being busy. I hope you're not interested in just being a busy person. You know, somebody asks you what's going on. Oh, just busy. Well, busy can just mean that you're on a hamster wheel. Just running and getting nowhere. No, my hope is that this helps you to become efficient in all that you do, to become effective as an individual. Everything that we want to do, we hope that it's going to mean something later on. So that's the kind of issues we're going to talk about on here. And maybe you have something to share. I hope that you'd be willing to share it with me so that I can share it with others, or at least give me a link on how I can direct people to you so that you can help them. I'm interested. Listen, it doesn't make a difference who gets the credit, right? As long as the work gets done, as long as the help that's needed is received, I don't care who gets the credit. I'm not interested in trying to have all eyes on me. My goal is to help make your life more effective. That's what a coach does. Coaching by Al. That's what a pastor does. Pastor Al Wilson Jr. That's what a father does. I happen to be a dad as well. But that's what we all should be focused on. Okay? I want you to have a whole lot of fun in life. I want you to enjoy life. I don't want you to be so super spiritual and spooky that you can't be any good to anybody. No, I want you to have fun. I want you to enjoy life, live life. He did all of this wonderful creating so that we can enjoy it. So let's not get so caught up in all of the little details, things. For those of you who are church folk, let me say it this way. Why care about where you shall eat, what you shall drink, where you shall sleep, how you shall be clothed? Oh, man. Yeah, I'm a church boy at heart. Seek first the kingdom of God. What is the kingdom? Seek first God's influence in your life. Seek first what he wants. What is it that he wants? The kingdom, the domain. What do you want? Seek first the kingdom of God and then his righteousness, how to be in right standings with his kingdom. And all these other things that you're thinking about, concerned about, they'll be added to you. It's just some fringe benefits of the package. Oh, man, I love this. God bless you so much. I've had a wonderful time today. I look forward to seeing you next time. Don't forget, share this, like this. Go back and watch it again. We are out of here. God bless you. I love you. I enjoyed that. Man.
Hey, this is DeAndre Ford, and you're listening to Worship Radio International.